Okay. Hi, I'm Karen, and this is Leslie, and welcome to friendsfaves.com. And we're going to be talking with Leslie today about her quilting. I met Leslie several weeks ago, I guess it was, at a group that we both belong to, and have gotten to know her a bit, and she started talking about how she quilts, and that is your passion, I take it.
Absolutely.
And you were telling me what you love about it. You were mentioning that you had...
I have a lot of special interests, things that I do. I love to quilt for family, for grandchildren and children and spouses and
you were telling me
families.
about was it a granddaughter or something that you saw one of your quilts around?
Yes, I was able to do a quilt for my youngest granddaughter and sent it to my son. And he sent a picture with her wrapped all around it. And it was a thank you, Grandma, for the quilt. And so I was able to say, you know, whenever you have your quilt around you, just think of it as Grandma's arms giving you a hug.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah, I mean, that is so precious to have a passion, something that you love, that you can share with other people. And that's really what Friends Faves is about, is sharing the things that we love and the things that we're passionate about and sharing that with all of our friends out there. So I'm so glad that we get to talk with you.
Thank you.
So how did you get started?
Well, I've been sewing for a lot of years, and when we moved to the area, I wasn't allowed to work. So I did a lot of volunteer work, and then I decided to start quilting. I had another PTA member say, come join the Quilt of the Month Club. So I did, and so I started quilting and haven't stopped. And after I got a couple of quilts done on a long arm machine, I thought, I want one of those machines, because they are so amazing, and they just totally finish off a quilt beautifully.
Yeah. So it must have, when you're doing them by hand, it must have taken you a lot longer than doing it on this fabulous machine back here.
It's gone from 6 months to hand quilt a quilt to a week max.
Wow.
And actually, depending on the size of the quilt, I could sometimes, the actual just long arming part, I can get that done in about 8 to 10 hours. So it can be, chopped up in a couple of days, because it's very eye straining.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. Well, Leslie has a very unique quilt back here that you were making for my
stepfather, and he's the very first Mr. Fix-It in my family, and I love him dearly, and he's going to be 84 this year, and so I'm going over to visit his house this weekend, and I wanted to have this quilt on his bed when he gets home from his holiday.
Yes. So Leslie was telling me that she has, in the middle of this quilt, a secret message to her father.
I do.
And that is just so cool. I mean,
the thing that's wonderful about this machine is that I can use a set pantograph, which has a set design on it, and I can use a laser light to move the machine, or I can do it by hand. And doing it by hand, I can do script, so I can write sayings in it, or names, or something that's special to the person that's receiving the quilt.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That is fantastic. Well, we're going to be sharing some of the other quilts with you too on our next segment, but just a couple things that you're starting a business.
I'm starting a business.
That's so exciting.
Yes. I love quilting, and I'd love to share my art with others. I will teach people how to sew a quilt top. I will teach them how to use my machine. I would let them rent my machine. And I will, if they bring their top and back over, I will put their top and back together, and then all they need to do is put their binding on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go into a little bit more detail too on some of your other quilts on our next segment. Okay. And we'll also have Leslie's information on our blog site on how you can get a hold of her if you would like a personalized quilt made for somebody special in your life. So thanks, Leslie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks for all of you joining us on Friends Faves. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, we'll just cut it into two, so that'll be perfect.
No, that's